Okay, let's dive in. We're going to go underground to explore a system that is so much more than just a way to get from point A to point B. The Moscow Metro. It's not just transport. It's really a living museum, it's an engineering marvel, and it's a window right into the soul of a superpower.
And it all kicks off with this really powerful idea from Joseph Stalin himself. See, he didn't just want a subway system. He imagined these grand, subterranean palaces, but for ordinary citizens. This one quote, right here, it sets the stage for this whole story of grandeur, ideology, and just immense ambition.
Which brings up a great question, right? At a time when the Soviet Union was scrambling to industrialize, why on earth would you pour so much wealth and artistry into a transportation system? Well, the answer takes us all the way back to the 1930s. Really get the metro, you have to understand the world it was born into. So in 1930, Stalin launches this massive 10-year plan. The goal? To drag the Soviet Union into the industrial age and below past the West. The metro, which got started in 1935, was a huge part of this vision. It wasn't just about moving people, it was a statement. And its strategic importance was totally sealed during World War II, when these beautiful stations became bomb shelters and even command centers for Soviet leadership. Here's the most important part to understand. The metro was a propaganda project from day one. It was all part of this grand psychological mission to create a new Soviet man. Stalin brought in the best architects and engineers of the era with a very clear mission: show the Soviet people and the world the power and promise of communism. The idea was that every single person could travel through a palace. This was ideology you can literally walk through. But beyond all the ideology, the metro is an absolute marvel of engineering. Its brilliance isn't just in the gold leaf and chandeliers, but in its fundamental design. So the secret sauce to the metro's design is what's called the ring system. Instead of a simple grid like you see in many cities, Moscow uses these huge circular lines that connect all the other lines shooting out from the center. Now, for you, the commuter, what this means is you can get between almost any 2 points in this massive city with at most 1 or 2 train changes. It's an incredibly efficient model that other cities have been trying to copy ever since. So let's just put the sheer scale of this thing into perspective. While New York actually has more stations, the Moscow metro system length is double. We're talking over 800 kilometers. It moves more than 2 billion passengers a year. It is a true behemoth of public transit. And, unlike New York's 24-hour system, it does all this while shutting down every single night. Yep. Unlike the subway in New York that never sleeps, the entire Moscow metro shuts down every single night from 1 a.m. to 5:30 a.m. for some serious maintenance. Teams of people swarm the system, checking tracks, signals, and even polishing the marble. This was baked into the plan from the very beginning, a nightly commitment to keeping the Palace of the People in absolutely perfect condition. Okay, so that's the history and the engineering. But what's it like to actually ride the metro today? Well, it's become a surprisingly high-tech experience. Forget about digging around for a transit card. In Moscow, you can literally just walk through the gate. The system uses facial recognition to see who you are and charge your account. The difference is just night and day. No more lines, no more delays. It's a huge leap in efficiency, all designed to keep millions and millions of people moving smoothly. But of course, a technology like this comes with a huge debate. On the one hand, proponents point to way faster entry and beefed up security. They can instantly identify wanted criminals. But on the other hand, critics raise some really serious privacy concerns. Some have even called it dictatorial, a state of constant surveillance where the government tracks your every move. It's that classic trade-off, convenience versus control. And here is the real kicker. After all of that, the history, the incredible art, the high-tech surveillance, an unlimited monthly pass costs about $20. It is just remarkably affordable, making this whole advanced system accessible to absolutely everyone. But the story of Moscow's transit doesn't just stop when you leave the metro station. The system is just one piece of a much larger, totally integrated web. The scale of the whole operation is just immense. The metro handles those 2 billion journeys every year, sure, but the bus system adds another billion on top of that. Together, these systems work like a finely tuned machine to connect every single corner of the city. And Moscow's push for modernization, it extends above ground too. The city operates one of the world's largest fleets of electric buses. We're talking over 900 of them.
For a megacity of 13 million people, that's a really crucial step in trying to manage air quality. So this is where we get to a fascinating paradox. Moscow has one of the world's best, most efficient, and most affordable public transport networks, and yet it still suffers from some of the worst traffic congestion in all of Europe, second only to Istanbul. How can both of those things be true at the same time? Well, the government solution is, let's say, aggressive. They're basically waging a war on private car ownership. They impose heavy taxes to make owning a car a real hassle, while at the same time making car rentals incredibly cheap and easy to use. The whole goal is to shift people's mindset from owning a car to just using one when you need it.
And this brings us to our final and maybe most crucial point. Because to understand Moscow, you really have to understand its unique place within Russia itself. This isn't the story of a whole nation, it's the story of a capital city.
It's so important to realize that this high-tech transit world we've been talking about, the facial recognition, the giant electric bus fleet, this is almost exclusively a Moscow phenomenon. Outside of the capital and maybe St. Petersburg, the rest of Russia has vastly different infrastructure. Moscow is truly an oasis of modernity.
In the end, we're left with this big question. The Moscow model is incredibly efficient, it's integrated, and in a lot of ways, it's a vision of a future smart city. But it's a future that's built on a foundation of top-down control and constant surveillance. So does it represent progress, or is it a blueprint for something far more controlling? That's the question to really think about.
Let us know your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this ride, please like and subscribe for more.